Well, at some time, someone came up with the idea of marrying the luge with a big skateboard. The extreme sports hybrid of street luge was born. Not the type of sport you'll have a lot of people participating in. It's kind of the sport where you have to fear the big, nasty case of road rash.
I used to skateboard as a little kid and used to ride down hills on my back. And when I saw the first X Games on TV, I said to my buddies, you know, I could do that.
Talk about your crazy Canucks. Burnaby's John Fritz is Canada's only full-time street luge racer. Basically, you lay down on your back and zoom down the hill at speeds of 130 kilometers an hour.
It's just the need for speed, I guess. It's like skiing, pointing your skis downhill, and you just open it up.
And what was it like the first time you tried it? Do you remember?
Scary. Yeah, scary. Still scary, you know. It's one of those things, you spin the wheel, make a deal. Some days you play, other days you pay.
Fritz doesn't have the broken bone resume of an Evel Knievel quite yet, but he does keep his doctors busy.
I've had a couple really bad wipeouts. The last race was in Ohio, and I went to pass somebody, and they bumped me off the road at 60 miles an hour, and I went nose first into the ditch and flipped through and hyperextended both my knees and broke some ribs, but tried to keep racing.
That doesn't deter you from going back?
No, a little Don Cherry for you.
Speed check 75. Hitting 80.
Yeah, he's a tough Canadian kid, a little off his rocker maybe, but to do a sport like this, you have to live on the edge. You also have to respect the speed or pay the consequences.
It's a sport where you have to fix all your concentration on what's going on in front of you. If you kind of veer off to the sides and start thinking a little too much, it's usually when you end up in a lot of problems and in the mud or in the ditch. And at 130K, it gets pretty ugly in the ditch.
Dude spinning, dude spinning.
Fritz, as everyone calls him, is a bartender by day. At night, he looks for a quiet street with a really big hill to get in some practice. Not an easy thing to find.
Got to consider traffic the first thing and pedestrian traffic the second. The last thing I want to do is injure somebody else and come across. And, you know, there's an incident, I believe it was last year out in the valley, where a lady hit a street luger. And the last thing I want to do is have, you know, little children remembering me coming through their van. So, yeah, I try to play it as safe as possible.
Fritz wants to do this for 3 or 4 more years. He'll compete in Europe this year for the first time. Not a bad way to spend the summer. And, of course, he proudly wears his custom-made maple leaf suit. He is Canada's street luge racing team.